With our dinosaur data, we are going to learn how to do a chart. This is a chart that we use and we have data on it. Now, the big thing with charts is that you need to make sure you use a chart that makes sense. And you'll see when we get in there, there's a variety of charts you can use. But if you put just any old chart up there, then it's going to show information, but not what you want it to show. For instance, on this one, we can see there's a bunch of dinosaur names on the bottom, and we have a bunch of bar charts and we have numbers on the side, but I don't know what those numbers mean. Is that their height, their length, their weight, how much they eat, how much they poop? I don't know. It's just got numbers. So we got to make sure that we put some information on those charts on those data labels so that we know what they mean. So the way we add a chart on your data table, on your grid, or on your on the different cells, you select. Let's say I'm going to do length, so I would select, click, and drag through all of my length. So I've highlighted all the length here and all the numbers, and then I go under the insert pull down and I go down to chart. So I'm inserting a chart. So when I click on chart, then that will pop in a chart. I'm going to make this a little bigger so that we can see it. Not quite that big. Let's make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So here we have a chart. Now my chart has the bars on it. It has numbers on it. It has some headers, some titles on it, but they're kind of generic. So for instance, it says length. So I'm looking at my chart or my data over here. I've got the length is the numbers I've highlighted. So instead of just calling it length, I'm going to change this. So I can select the title and I can double click on and highlight it in there and type what I want to type. Or you'll notice when I select it over on the right in the chart editor section, it has customize selected and it has the chart axis and titles opened up. And here's my chart title. And this is what I have on the chart title right now, length. Well, this is actually going to be called, let's call it dinosaur length. And there, length, wait a minute, spelled length correctly. And dinosaur, I can right click on, I got a squiggly, I can click on it. There we go, dinosaur length. And now I've changed that so that title of my chart is dinosaur length. Well, that's good. And I see I have my dinosaurs here, my dinosaur number chart bars. And I have length over here. Well, length, what is this? 10,000 inches? Is it 10,000 miles? 10,000 feet? I don't know. But I know when I put these in, they were in feet. So I'm going to change. I'm going to select my chart title, the label title, and go over here where now we have vertical axis title selected. And this is length. I'm going to say length in feet. So when I enter that in, now I've got over here. So now I know these numbers are length in feet. So that's good. Well, I've got these bar chart here and it's blue. I'm not real big on the blue. So when I click on it, then it opens up the series, which is what I've got selected here, and it tells me information. So I can make changes on this stuff. So I'm going to change this to kind of a dinosaur color. I like that kind of dinosaur green. And I could make other changes on this, but I don't want to make too many changes. I want to make sure that I know what I'm changing. So if I scroll down, this is still selected. There's error bars, data labels, trend line. Error bars, if you knew what that was, you could use it. That actually is for statistics showing that, okay, there's a percentage of error in our data collection. So we're saying we're allowing plus or minus, but we don't need that. We're not going to use that. A trend line shows a line here. Then, and if I was doing something that was like over a period of time, like doing stocks and changing in stocks over a period of time, then a trend line is kind of cool because it can show me how things have changed over a period of time. Is there a trend to that? Kind of help me with my gambling addiction there. But we're not going to do a trend line because that doesn't do any good because we're talking about a variety of dinosaurs. Now, if we were doing a timeline on the dinosaurs, like different time periods, then that'd be kind of cool. Maybe we could put that in there, but this doesn't help us, so I'm not going to have that. Data labels, now that's something that we could probably use because looking at this, one dinosaur is over 40,000. It's at 42,000 length in feet. Some of these other ones are pretty small, and if I don't have that data labels on there, It's under 10,000, but all of these are kind of close, but I'm not sure exactly how much they are. So putting that data label on there gives me the numbers. So that might be something that's handy in this case. It doesn't mean I'm going to use it on every one of my charts, but it's definitely a good thing to probably to use in this thing because I can see some more specific details. So that's kind of cool. But the other problem I'm having now is, okay, I see all these bars here, but I don't know what they're for. These are all the dinosaurs over here, but they're not on my data chart. So I'm going to have to add those. So anybody have any idea how I would add my labels to my chart here? I could make you struggle and figure this stuff out, but I'm going to go ahead and let you in on a little secret. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to delete my chart here and select it, hit delete, it's gone. I can also go up into the bars up in the top corner. There's little bars on it. If I click on that, then I can delete my chart or I can do my editing. If I do edit chart there, then it opens up the chart editor over here on the side. So that's another way to get that open. Click on the X to close the chart editor when I want to just look at my sheet the way it is with my chart in there. You guys are going to add at least 2 charts. So, like I said, I want the dinosaur data names on their dinosaurs in addition to the other data on there. So, let's say I want to do the average EQ. So, I'm going to select my average EQ, click and drag through my data, and then I'm going to hold my control key down and I'm going to click and drag through the names of my dinosaurs. And I got to make sure that I highlight the same amount. So I've highlighted all 20 in both of those. So you make sure that you don't just do 5 on one and 10 on the other because that'll mess up your chart. But so I've got 2 different sections highlighted, my average EQ and my dinosaur names. And now when I do my insert pull down and I go to chart, now it's going to insert the chart and I have my dinosaur names on the bottom and my data numbers with my data. And then I can go back in and make those changes. So when you're doing this, when you're making these changes, try 1 or 2 of them and see what it looks like on your chart. See if that's what you like. Once I get my chart set up, then I can take the chart itself and I can click on it and I can drag it wherever I want to put it on my sheet so that's off to the side. I can resize it, with the dots, make it larger or smaller so that it fits in a certain area. Of course, I have 2 different charts there, so I'd want to move them and so they're not overlapping. But make sure your charts make sense. Another thing that I look at when I do this chart, okay, so you made this chart and you say, okay, they're all looking the same. I want to kind of change them. Well, when I select my chart and I go over here in setup, I've got a variety of stuff that I can choose. Here's a column chart. Now, if I selected this data here, notice it's in customize, but I want to go back to setup. So I click on my setup tab and then it says, okay, now I have a column chart and it's got to be some other things in there. It shows me the range I've selected. So there's a lot of stuff I can change in here. But here, if I click on the drop down, the column chart drop down, now I've got some options. And so instead of a vertical column, let's go a bar chart. So now my dinosaurs are lined up vertically. That's kind of cool. Got my bars coming out to the side, my average EQ down the bottom. This is my name for, I've got the title up here. I can change that. So I can make some changes on this now, but it looks nicer, a little more consistent with my data, the way it's set up on my sheet too. So that one would be a good one. There's other ones I could use. Hey, I could use a line chart. Well, this probably is not the best one to use, especially with this kind of data, because it just shows, a line like if I was plotting points on something that was changing, like my stocks or something. Then a line chart would be good. But because I'm using a bunch of different things, it's showing different heights with a line. That's not good. This is more of a timeline type thing. So again, when you choose your charts, choose something that looks good, that's going to make sense with your data. Go in and make a change on your data colors. I can change my colors like I did before. So I've got this one. So that was one individual one. So I didn't select all my data on that one. So there, now it's all selected. Now I can go ahead and customize that. Find my chart axis and titles. No, it wasn't in there. Legend. So I'd go and look through this stuff and see where is it. Oh, there's my color. Okay. And that was on my series. So that's in the series. That shows me all of them. So now they're all changed. So you can start changing some stuff. Make sure you know what you're doing. This is saved as you're working through it. So if you don't like something, you can always undo it. But you're going to have at least 2 charts in your dinosaur data.